welcome to the channel. And today is the day 15th where we used to learn about the DevOps journey and specifically about the AWS cloud. So today we'll be covering about the Amazon VPC. That's one of the important service of the AWS cloud itself. Till now we have covered about the cloud perspective, why cloud came into the picture and the different properties about the cloud. The use case of the cloud we have seen, and we have also talked about the AWS EC2 service in detail. We have talked about the user data, elastic IP addresses, public IP, private IP, elastic block storage, then the different classes of the EC2 instances. And at the same time, we have talked about how to run your first shell script on the EC2 instances. We have also talked about your IAM roles, user policy, and all these topics. And we have talked about the load balancer, the different kind of load balancer, and path-based routing. In today's video, we will talk about the Amazon VPC and kind of subnets and the internet gateway. Then we will try to see one demo as well, how to create first VPC. So let's start with the VPC itself. So let's go with the point itself, and the first point in terms of VPC. If you have not understood the VPC, you can watch out the previous video, day 14, where you will understand in details what's the purpose of VPC and what's the VPC in actual. Correct. So let's start from here. The first point, allow you to establish boundaries around your AWS resources. So whatever the AWS resources you want to launch, when we say the AWS resources, that means the different AWS services. So if you want to launch your AWS EC2 instance, if you want to launch your AWS RDS instance, if you want to launch your AWS Lambda function, so all these services can be bind within, or a boundary can be set for all these different resources, so that the networking will lie within a particular area only, and that particular area will be called as your virtual private cloud. So the VPC will set a particular area. Within that particular area, you can deploy your the different services, as you can see from the diagram as well. So this yellow diagram is a kind of VPC, and within this VPC you have all these resources deployed, the EC2 instances, the routers, and the different resources which are there. And if you want to connect it to from the on-prem, there is you can see the customer network. That's the on-prem kind of thing, your data center kind of thing. And if you want to connect it through your cloud, there is a secure VPN between the cloud and between on-prem data center as well. So is AWS VPC creates a boundary for your resources. Then whenever you launch your AWS account, you get a default VPC in each AWS region. So now when we say the AWS region, that means your Mumbai region, your North Virginia, your Sydney region, your US to London region. So in all these regions, you get a one default VPC. You can launch your AWS resources into this VPC. When we create VPC, specify a CIDR block range of, for example, 10.00/16. CIDR is nothing but it's just a kind of your pool of IP address ranges. So whatever the CIDR you mentioned, there is a particular calculation that we will talk about, that how many number of IP addresses will be there. So based on that, a particular a set of IP addresses allocated to that particular VPC area, and these IP addresses can be further utilized for networking within the different resources. A VPC span all of the availability zones in the region. So the VPC will be having your like if you are creating your VPC in AP South 1, that's your that is in your Mumbai region. So this VPC will be available throughout the complete region. That means it will be available within the different availability zones which are part of that region. Then moving further, you can see VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud, which is a secure, isolated private cloud that is hosted within a public cloud. Correct. So the public cloud, when we say that, that means your AWS cloud, your Google cloud, or your Azure, all these public cloud where we create a VPC. When we say the AWS, it's VPC. In other cloud provider, it will be with the different names. Then there are few more pointers about that, the same. Now let's move to the different features of the VPC. So a VPC is a virtual network that closely resembles a traditional network that you would operate in your own data center. So like if you have your own data center, you will do all the networking, all the wirings, and the maintaining of those wirings and all these stuffs in your own data center. While if you create a VPC, You don't have to be much worried about this networking configuration. VPC will take care of that, and you have to just go with the, like, you have to just play with the console where you will be creating the different subnets, you will be passing the different CIDR. So those kind of console play you have to do. A subnet, let's understand about the subnet as well. So within this VPC, if you see the previous diagram, this is the area of VPC. Within this particular VPC, if you want to segregate this area into two parts, so you can mark one part as a and second part as a B. That we have talked in earlier video as well, day 14, where I have explained the concept of your subnets, the different subnets, the route tables, and all those things. So, a subnet is a range of IP address in your VPC. A subnet must reside in a single availability zone and within the VPC itself. Correct. So, whatever the IP address range will be there for the VPC, a subnet will be the part of that. That means it's a kind of subset for the your VPC. After you add subnets, you can deploy AWS resources in your VPC. Correct. Let me do Control Z. Yeah. Then use route tables to determine where network traffic from your subnet or gateway is directed. Gateway connects your VPC to another network. So it might be your internet gateway or customer or different kind of endpoints or gateway. But the purpose of gateway is to route your traffic from one place to another place. So it defines or it connects your VPC to another network. For example, use an internet gateway to connect your VPC to the internet, or you can use a VPC endpoint that we will talk about later on. VPC endpoint to connect to AWS services privately without the use of internet gateway to or NAT device. So VPC endpoint we use for creating your private network within your to establish the connection between two AWS resources while keeping your networking as a private one. Then moving forward, the different features of the VPC. Use a VPC peering connection to route traffic between the resources in two VPC. So just suppose that you have one database in first first VPC, and then you have the application lying in the second VPC. And now you have to make the connection between these two VPCs so that your data can be retrieved either the right kind of thing or the read kind of thing. Then you can establish the VPC peering connection to read the data or to write the data into a second VPC. Then there are a few other top features of the VPC as well. The transit gateway flow log. Flow log will capture information about the IP traffic going to and from network interface in your VPC. So whatever the network logs will be generated, that will be stored in your VPC flow logs. So that either you can create a S3 bucket, you can store all these flow logs in that bucket, and whenever you want to analyze that based on some issues or something, you can do that. Moving forward, let's talk about the subnets here. So subnets are nothing but just a subset of the VPC itself, you can say. So as per the diagram, you can see the first block stands for the AWS cloud. Within this AWS cloud account, there is a second green box which stands for your VPC, and within this VPC we have two subnets, public subnet and private subnet. So subnets are just part of the VPC. That means if this particular VPC has 1,000 number of IP address, so your public subnet might have 700 of IP address and 300 subnets for private subnet, 300 IP address for private subnet. So this kind of allocation can be done within the VPC to make some of the resources your public and to make some of resources as a private. Correct. So within a VPC, you can organize your resources into subnets. A subnet is a section of VPC in which you can group resources based on the security or operation nets. So when we say the security, that means which kind of traffic can come to this subnet, which kind of traffic can go outside this subnet. So that will be that we can control within this subnets. Each subnet must reside entirely within one availability zone and cannot span zones. Correct. So your public subnet might be in episode 1A, your second subnet might be in episode 1B, or any particular availability zone. Your subnet may lie at one time. Your subnet may lie in one availability zone only. Then let's talk about the public and private in details. So if a subnet is traffic is routed to an internet gateway, the subnet is known as a public subnet. So it's just like that property. Like if you are requesting your any kind of request you are making to the public, and your traffic is being routed to internet gateway from the subnet, so that subnet will work as a public subnet, correct? And for that, to make that particular subnet as a public, you will have to add a route in your subnet route table. So your subnet will lie somewhere in a route table. It will be having net subnet association with some of the route table. To make that subnet public one, you will have to mention the route in your route table where your subnet is associated as a 00. That means the route table will have the association with the internet gateway, and route table will be having the association with your subnets as well. Then your subnet will be public one, as you can see from the diagram itself as well. Here if you can see, IGW is attached here in the custom route table 000, and IGW is there. So now your subnet becomes as a public subnet. While for the private one, you can see for the private one, NAT gateway is mentioned with the 00 destination. That means the NAT gateway is also working like this. This is mentioned in the public subnet, and from the public subnet, it's finally going to the your IGW internet gateway. So the private subnet does not have directly access through to the internet, but it has the access through the net, then from up to the internet. Correct. So that's the feature of your public subnet and the private subnet as well. So here you can see the for the private subnet the second diagram. A private subnet does not have a route to the internet gateway. You can use a network address translation NAT. This one stands for your NAT. NAT gateway to enable instances in a private subnet to connect to the internet or other AWS services. Then the final one is internet gateway. So if you have to make your subnet as a public one, and you have to make the connectivity with the internet, like you have launched your EC2 machine, and on that server you have to install some of the software which are kind of open source or which are publicly available. To install this software, you will run few commands, and that will go to the internet. It will install the software. For that you will require the access of internet. So here internet gateway comes into the picture. Your EC2 instance lies within one subnet. This subnet is a part of one VPC. That means it's a virtual private cloud, so it's a private area. Now the request has to go from this VPC to the internet. So for that there will be internet gateway which will make the connection to the internet, and it will install the softwares on your server. So internet gateway is always attached with the VPC. So you can see the first point, attach an IGW to the VPC to allow public traffic from the internet to your VPC. Sorry, without an IGW no one can access the resources inside your VPC. So to access your resources within the VPC, you will have to allow you will have to attach the internet gateway so that request can go and come outside. Allow instances in a VPC to access the internet. That's the feature of the internet gateway. And now let's directly move to the your AWS console where we will create one of the VPC, and we will see how you can create first VPC from the console itself. So here we are on the AWS console, and you can search about the VPC this service. Let's get into there. And as you had already seen the pointer that whenever you create your AWS account in each AWS region, you get a default VPC. So here also you will see there will be one VPC running, and that is the default VPC. Now we have to create VPC according to ourselves. So I will go with the VPC only configuration. If you click on the create VPC, you will see you have to pass the name, you have to pass the different configuration. So just for demo purpose, I am just giving the name demo-vpc. CIDR I will pass as 10.0.0.0/16. That will be CIDR. That means how many number of IP addresses will be there. Then tenancy default, and the name. This will be the name of the VPC, demo VPC. Let's click on the create VPC. So your VPC is created now. Now let's directly move to the internet gateway. So one default internet gateway is also there. Let's click on the create internet gateway, and here I am saying a demo IGW. Create internet gateway, and you can see right now this internet gateway is in detached mode. So if you see the PPT, here we talked about that whenever you create internet gateway, it should be attached to the VPC, correct? So either you can detach or attach, but if you have to make your VPC, all the resources which are in the VPC, they have to communicate with the internet gateway, sorry, to the internet gateway should be attached with the VPC. So right now your internet gateway is not attached to any VPC, so you will have to attach it with some of the VPC here. Right now it's empty, correct? So let's click on the attach to VPC, search for your VPC and click on attach internet gateway. Now it's attached. So the resources which will lie in this particular VPC, demo VPC, that can have the access of the internet, because this internet gateway is attached with your VPC ID, correct? Then if you want to create any subnets, you can click on the create subnet here. You can select your VPC where you have to create the subnets. You can give any name, like I'm just passing one name, public subnet -1. Then you can select your availability zone, in which availability zone you want to create. As we had already talked that your each and every subnet should be the part of one availability zone at one time. So you can select one availability zone here. Then you can pass the CIDR, and your CIDR for the subnet should be in the subset, should be the subset of your IP address. Sorry, the CIDR of your VPC. So as you can see, for the VPC it was 10.00/16, and for your subnet it will be 10.0.1.0, then 28 we can give. Then let's click on the create, and your subnet has been created. So in a similar way you can create the different subnets as well. Now this subnet should be the part of route table. So for now you can see there is no route table associated over here. So let me create one route table here, and let me call it demo route, and then select the VPC what we have created. Let's click on the create route table, and within this route table you can do the subnet associations. So just click on the edit subnet association and select your subnet, save association. So your subnet has been attached in this route table. It is the part of this route table, and this route table will have the access of your internet gateway. So here you can add the route as well, 00, then the internet gateway here, and you can select your demo IGW, save changes. So now what the structure is there, if you can see where we have this public subnet. So this public subnet has the access of the internet gateway. This is the part, internet gateway is the part of your route table, and your subnet is the part of the custom route table. So now this subnet has been become your public subnet, correct? So this is what we have established here. This route table has the association of the internet gateway. This route table has the association of your subnet. So whatever resources you will create in this particular subnet, that can have the access of the internet gateway, because your internet gateway is attached with this particular VPC. So in this particular video we just wanted to cover this much only, the VPC and the different concepts of the subnet, then the internet gateway as well. And in the next video we'll be talking about the net gateway and other topics related to VPC and the different services. So till the time, stay tuned with the channel, subscribe to the channel, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you.